Here again with another Lucifer Season 3 episode review video. Before I get into that though, pretty important if you are caught up to the point where I am and rewatching or watching Lucifer, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case and you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And for those of you that are wondering, this is indeed my first time watching this show. So join me and Crazy Coffee Man in the comment section to discuss this amazing show. And with that in mind, this will be Lucifer Season 3, Episode 8. The title of this episode is called Chloe Does Lucifer. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. We actually start off with Lucifer, Chloe, and Trixie playing Monopoly, my second favorite board game of all time behind Risk. Monopoly never ends, and Risk is the game of global domination. Lucifer wants the top hat from Trixie, but it's going to cost him, and she's not talking about fake money. So, Lucifer gets all Monopoly'd out, and he goes back to his penthouse. Amenadiel is there, and Amenadiel says, "Imagine my disappointment when I found out that there was no raging party." And then we also have a Home Alone reference here. And then he says to Amenadiel, "My exciting lifestyle gives regular people something to aspire to. I give hope." And it's mentioned that Linda's dealing with a death in the family. And Amenadiel says, I like this new you." And then we have another victim. Lucifer, Chloe, Ella Lopez, and Dan are all on the scene. Ella says she's sure she's in a better place now. BABFT, big ass blunt force trauma to the head, is the cause of death, Ella Lopez says. Dan says Monopoly doesn't sound like the old Lucifer. Like, what, you're playing Monopoly now? What is this new Lucifer? The victim's roommate, Esther, is taking crime scene selfies. She wants one with the handsome cop, Dan. This chick actually looks familiar to me is what I wrote, but I looked her up on IMDb and nothing really rang a bell, but it looked like I had seen her in many projects before. But there's a couple things, but I wouldn't really remember her from those. Says Kim, the victim, got into a yelling match last night. She hopes they don't mind a post, and Lucifer wants to be tagged. We have Mac Slater is the CEO of Top Meat. Chloe is exactly Mac's type. The victim was fighting with Mac. Most interesting bachelor indeed, Lucifer says. Ella's carrying evidence, and Charlotte is in the room, which of course startles Ella Lopez. She wants to know about the darkness she sees from her, and Ella might be the person that can guide Charlotte. Dan shows up. Cray, Charlotte. Ella leaves. Amenadiel goes to see Linda Martin. She's trying to plan her ex-husband Reese's his memorial. And then Ella says Kim had mad hacking skills. Chloe is going to go to the party and channel her inner Lucifer. Really, Chloe? Can you really channel Lucifer? I don't think so, to quote Home Alone. You think being as fascinating as I am be boiled down to a few tips, Lucifer says to Chloe. So she wanted some tips on how to be Lucifer, and it's like, you think being me boiled down to a few tips is really going to help you? Trixie watches Lucifer try and teach Chloe how to be more like Lucifer. Charlotte has been admitted, or she's now the admitted to the forensic shadow program. She's going to be Ella's student. She tells her this in an elevator when Ella was trying to get away from her, so she can be good. My detective. She tried her best to be a female Lucifer. She looked really fascinating, and Chloe looks extravagant in this. Chloe sees a possible suspect and follows Lucifer's advice and laughs like somebody demented. Something. It was way worse than that. As Lucifer and Daniel are in the truck, Chloe scares another one away, and then Chloe decides to ditch the earpiece that she has, and Lucifer says she'll flounder without Lucifer's expertise or his expert guidance. Tells Dan to stay here and do what you do best. He said something else after that, but I didn't quite hear it, and then I just kind of forgot about it and kept watching. Lucifer and Chloe talked to another potential suspect. He wanted to avoid Esther. This guy really liked Kim. He could be himself around Kim, who they're talking to. And then Chloe thinks a dumbbell might be the murder weapon, and Esther might be a suspect as they see selfies from Esther, and there's a dumbbell on the shelf in the background, and that's not there anymore. Charlotte says Ella wastes her time always chit-chatting. Chloe knows that Charlotte lied. Poof! Temptation officially gone. Or did I say Chloe knows? Ella knows that Charlotte lied. Poof! Temptation officially gone. Linda only feels terrible that she doesn't feel terrible about Reese's death, and she can't be thinking about her, that she's just thinking about herself. Linda says she knows where she's heading when this is all over. She wishes she would have never met like Lucifer, Amenadiel, and company, anyone associated with this immortality of sorts. Esther really desires to stop posing and lying. It takes so much of my effort to make these pics look so effortlessly, as there's like pull down screens of like backgrounds. So she's not really going to these places. It's just backdrops or backgrounds. Lucifer wants to go hang out with some interesting people before Chloe turns him into a shoe. Amenadiel lays in the sand with Linda Martin. Amenadiel makes Linda feel better, and there's obviously some chemistry with Amenadiel and Dr. Linda Martin. Charlotte gives them some information that Mac may be the killer, because apparently Kim is like the leader. She's like the head of this company. Mac is just like the face that they see. Chloe goes to Max, and Lucifer comes over as well. Some alone time with the detective. Mac wants them to decide for themselves who gets the pleasure of Mac's company, and then they kind of investigate things. They talk about where the dumbbell could be, and it's actually in the chimney. And then Max, so he realizes two people in law enforcement, or a consultant in law enforcement, showing up to his place must not be good. So instead of grabbing like the drink that he was going to grab, he actually grabbed a gun, and he of course hid the dumbbell in the chimney. And he compares himself to Steve Jobs. Not, was the other guy Wozniak? I didn't actually type that down. I'm just going from memory, but no one remembers him really. It's always about Steve Jobs. So Lucifer throws Mac's head, this like piece that he has of his own head, and he goes to catch it, and then he drops his weapon in the process, and now Chloe has her gun pointed on Mac. Lucifer tells Dr. Martin in the end the shoe turned out to be interesting and the top hat was actually boring. All Lucifer has to do to be interesting is just be himself. He asks her how she's doing, and she says good. And then we have Ella telling Charlotte the contract helped put a killer behind bars. Being good takes practice. And then Charlotte tells Ella she's been offered a position in the DA office. Maybe her job will be Miguel, or her boss will be Miguel Prado. Perhaps. Probably not. And she's taking the job, and she's going to be around her more often. More Monopoly for Chloe and Trixie. Being who you really are is never a bad idea. And then we see Lucifer, he's actually taken the shoe from Monopoly game, and he ends up going to bed with some, I'm not sure who the chick is, maybe she was on another episode or what, but he ends up fooling around with another random woman, and that's what ends the episode. So, I don't know, I didn't like this one as much as previous episodes that have happened in the season. I'm still going to give it an 8.0 out of 10. It's pretty solid, but just, I don't know, some pacing issues, I guess, and some things that don't quite make sense, or maybe they do make sense and I just didn't get it. Went over my head, I guess. I don't know. But I'll give it an 8.0 out of 10. My character for the females is going to be Chloe. And, of course, Lucifer. They're really good. We have Trixie in this episode. We don't get Trixie every episode, but she steals scenes when she's in them. She's great. I hope we get more of a focus on her at some point, and I hope we get more backstory from Ella Lopez. I really want to know when Ella Lopez really gets fleshed out. on this show. So that's all I have to say about the episode, really. I think I like the previous one and the one before that better, but, you know, it's all good. I still like it. I'm getting used to the whole... It's not that I don't care about religion, I just don't like talking about it, if anybody wants to know that. I know I'd mentioned before that I have issues with religious things. They just bore me. That's the thing. So you've heard what I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lucifer and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing that like button. Even 5 more likes a video will really go a long way to help out with the millions of people that are on YouTube. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section to let me know your thoughts about the episode. Ask Crazy Coffee Man stuff about Lucifer as well. Tell me what your favorite character of this episode was, or your all-star of the episode, male and female, or just one if you want to do it. Let me know what your score is. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. Subscribe to the channel. You are watching the video anyway. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return as soon as I find out what it is that you desire.